change of plans here on the 68 Camaro. Just because I changed the plans. That's how things go. You roll with it. You lay in bed at night, you think about things, what you're doing, what you're cutting up on cars, and it comes to you. I've done several of these cars before. I've done these trunk pans before, and I've done them all different ways, but I changed my game plan on this car only because this car came to me, and if you're following along, the whole back end, basically, someone's already cut off most of it. So if I started cutting away more the way I wanted to do it, the whole back end just would have fell off. So here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we all know, or at least all my followers know, all these quarters, the wheel tubs, everything's been hacked to shit. You can see it. I mean, look how they even hacked it. I'm going to zoom in. Look how they've hacked it along there. You know, it's supposed to have a line, a lip like this, and then it's just gone. It's like that on both sides. So my whole plan was get these. You'll have to go back. I'm not going to explain it again. Get the inner wheel tubs in on either side. Then I was going to put the floor in. What I was going to do to put the floor in is you take these back panels off. Everything, see here? Everything unspot welds and everything comes apart. And I was going to slip the floor in from this way, because the floor has to go over top of the subframe rails. And the floor is wider at the back here than it is across the front, which you can see right here. See, there's the front, narrower, back's wider. So it can only slip in from the back way only. That was the plan. So I was going to get my inner wheel tubs in and do that. But then I started thinking, once I take this away, I got nowhere to put braces. You can see I got some braces here, got braces here, got braces under the car, I got braces up, I got braces everywhere. Don't worry about that. If I would have took this away, I got nowhere to put the braces, I would have, and because the quarters are already off, I would have had nothing left here. So I started thinking about this, and I started thinking, wow, well, I had done that wheel tub first, which you saw in previous videos, and I cut this one out. This is what it looks like when it's cut out, and was getting ready to put it in, and I thought, wait a minute, this gap is big enough for me to slip the floor in an angle like this and drop it down. Put a couple, you know, you can do some self-tappers. Some people use Coleco, but self-tappers are just, there's nothing wrong with them. They're cheap. You get a couple self-tapping screws, you screw it in. What I'm talking about that is you run the self-tappers into here where you spot weld it to hold it in place for now, and you put a couple self-tappers in just to hold it in place and get everything lined up. Make sure the measurements are right. I got measurements, you can see I got writing over here. I got writing everywhere in this car, and I got a book too. Always take measurements. So that's my plan now, is to get the floor in this way. Of course, I got stuff to do before it goes in. Get the floor in this way, self-tap it in with a few self-tappers here and there. Not that it's going to go very far, because it can't fall down because it sits on the frame rail. Then get my inner wheel tub in and make sure everything lines up there. Then we start welding the floor in. So this is the new game plan. There's not much left of this old girl in the back, is there? I've done these before where the quarters have been on the car and it's been solid, and I've had to take the back part of it and slip it in like we were talking about earlier. But that was different. The whole car had quarters and holding it together, and you could do something. This car has nothing. It's all gone. So this is an easier plan, in my opinion. Now everyone out there is going to have their own way of going about doing things, and nobody is wrong if the job gets done and it's done right at the end of the day. So don't take for everything I'm saying here for 100%, you know, for what it should be. This is what I'm going to do, and I know it's going to work. Okay? I've done this my entire life, and it's always worked out for me. So I've never done one this way, but we're going to try it this way. It was my only solution, like I say, because if I would have cut the back of this car off, I'd have nothing to put bracing to. There's no quarters on it. We're kind of waiting on that, and we got to move on here. So this is what we're going to do: measurements, bracing, and measurements again. So, but now before we get carried away, obviously you can see, like, here's a piece here. These, I believe, could be wrong. This being a rag top, see how it's got bolt holes? You can't bolt snapped off. I believe this is something used to hang off of here. I believe. In some of the rag tops in the early days, and I could be wrong, they used to have weights that would hang under here. So something hung there. It's either that or it has something to do with the exhaust, but I doubt it's the exhaust. But anyway, they're rotten. Again, they're just spot welded on to the frame. So you got to clean stuff. That has got to be cleaned up and dealt with before you put the floor in, because the floor sits over top of that. Just like in the channel here, the frame rails are actually really solid. So I'm going to get in here, clean all these up, and I'm going to put a rust treatment in there and leave it sit over the weekend. It's Friday here today. Not that it matters. Time you get this video, it won't be Friday for you guys. It'll probably be who knows what days, because my videos are never up the exact day I do them. But I'm going to leave it sit over the weekend with some rust treatment, get in there, clean it up, put it on there, then paint it up, and then when I come back next week, I know it's all sealed up and it's solid in there. I don't have to worry about it. So here's this one I actually cut off. You can see this one here. It was just, I was all of a sudden I started to make a patch to fix a hole, and the more I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I patching that piece of shit? So off it came, and here, I made one. Brand new. And I made it, actually, I went 1 gauge thicker than what they had it out of. So, there we go, identical. These holes here that you see across here, that's where I'm going to spot weld it. Here, we'll get in here if I can film this. See, it kind of goes, if you can see that, kind of goes in there. You know, it's going to go there, it's going to go on. So that there, from that. You know, made it up on the floor. There we go, sits right on top like it should, holes line up. Did all the factory holes like it should have. So that's going to go on. So there's where we're starting. So that is what is going on. So this is how I'm going to go about attacking this. So today is get the frame rails cleaned up inside. Get them rust treated, rust mortared. Make the other one of these things. For this side I got to take off. Get those on the car today. And it's gonna, you know, it's gonna take a bit of time. And then we're gonna come back at it next week and deal with the whole floor situation. And even the floor situation, you gotta, that's not just drop it in and away you go. I mean, there's work involved, but you'll see that in a future video. But this is where the 68 Camaro is at. So we've left everything here. It's good and solid here. Nothing's moved. And even when I'm cutting and taking things out, I don't just, I don't get in there and just cut the big huge thing out all at once. I cut it out in pieces. I go along slowly, take my time, and I keep making sure I take measurements to make sure nothing is moving. I don't want to find out, I don't want to get in there, take measurements at the beginning, and then do 5 hours of cutting, we'll say, and then go back and look at it and measure and see that something's gone out of place. It's, for me, when I took the floor out of this thing, I probably took it out of in around a dozen different pieces. Just cut it, drilled the spot welds, cut a section out, drilled the spot welds, cut a section out, kept going back and taking measurements, making sure that nothing was moving or changing. I wanted to make sure of that. Door on, door off. All the bullshit. Nothing was changing. I wanted to definitely make sure, and nothing has changed. So I've been lucky so far. The measurements are exactly where they were at the beginning with nothing in the back. But I've put lots of bracing in this car too. You can't see it all in this video, but there's bracing underneath the frame rails, connecting the frame rails. There's bracing. I put bracing as much as I could, where I could. I would have liked to put more, but once you put more in there, then I can't get in there to put the floor in there. So there we go. So that's where we're going. So, hey, it's always a good time at Old Time. We'll see you next time, and hopefully that helps out. Thanks to all you subscribers. Remember, go on to my Facebook. Find me on Facebook, Old Time Garage. I'm posting an Instagram. Instagram is Rick's_Old Time Garage, because I'm posting 1 and 2 minute videos up there every day of stuff going on around here that you don't see on YouTube. Okay, guys. See you later. Big thumbs up.